Never buy a piece of land in Cameroon until you go through these processes that I am going to show you here right now. A lot of people are complaining that they bought land and later realized that that land was sold to 3 other people. They bought land and later they realized that the land title that was shown to them was the fake land title. And many other complaints, people complain here and there. Just because when they were buying that land, they didn't follow all the procedure I am going to show you here right now. Do not be a victim again when you have made this video. Now, what is the first thing you have to do whenever somebody presents himself to you that he wants to sell a piece of land to you? The first thing that you have to do is verify if that person is the rightful owner of that land. There are a lot of people today who are selling lands that does not belong to them. And when you buy that land, it is later now that the rightful owner will come and meet you, that the person who sold the land to you was not the person who had the legal capacity to sell that particular land to you. And either you have to compensate the owner or pay back entirely to the owner, or you have to go to the court and then the judge will be the one to judge and give you a sentence. You can avoid that by verifying always if the person selling the land to you is the rightful owner of the land he is selling to you, right? Yes, it's true that at times in Cameroon there are a lot of real estate agents that goes about selling land for people. Now, there is no problem with that. But before you do the payment, always make sure you meet the owner and you verify if that person is the rightful owner of the document. You will ask me, how can you verify if the person selling the land to you is the rightful owner of the document? There are different ways in which you can do this verification. If the land is a private land, ask if there is a land title. And when they give the land title to you, you can now verify and see if the person presenting itself to you as the owner of the land is the person that has the name written on the land title. If maybe the person bought the land before, ask if there is a deed of conveyance or a transfer of agreement showing that that particular land was being transferred from the person who had the land before to the person that is selling the land to you. Until you see this document and you verify to see that these information are authentic, don't go forward to buy that land. Now you will also ask me, how can I verify if the document presented in front of me is an authentic document? If a land title has been presented to you, that means that land title has been issued by the Department of State or State Properties, Land Tenure and also Surveys. So what do? You go, if for example the land is found in Buya, the regional board of Mincap is found at Tibok Junction. You just have to go to Tibok Junction, you ask them, you verify if this land is actually a legally verified land title. If they have it in their register, you can check anywhere. You check if they have that land in their register, titled or registered in the name of the person who has sold that piece of land to you. Then you now have total confirmation that that land belongs to that person, right? This is very important. Now, when you have this legal verification that everything is correct, the person owning the land is the rightful person selling the land to you, you are now safe at this particular level. Now, everything does not end here. It goes forward. You have to now go forward to consider that this document that they have presented to you, is this land actually existing? And if it is existing, is this where they have shown to you? Because there can be cases where someone will show a document to you that is existing, but the land they are showing to you is not the land in which they are talking about. They can be showing a land to you that is maybe is found in Munya, but they are showing you that they are showing you a place in Moliko, right? You have to verify to see if that land where they are showing you is actually the actual land. And normally on land certificate, there are always, when you are doing a deed of conveyance, you are going to see where they are going to show that this land belonging to this, located at this particular place. And in order for you to have total confirmation, you can contact a surveyor and he's going to do the survey and tell you whether that land is actually existing or not. This is very, very important. Now, when you have done the verification and you see that everything is good to go, you can go forward and do the purchase of the land, right? Now, as I told you, there are different types of land. We have private land, which are land with land titles. Then we have customary land, which are land without land title, which are land that belongs to individuals or to community. If maybe someone is selling a customary land to you, which does not have a land title, then you have to verify if there is a deed of conveyance for that land. If, for example, the person bought a land from someone else, if there is no deed of conveyance, one thing you have to verify is you can just go to the community and you ask, who has this piece of land? Does this land belongs to this person who claims? If the person told you that yes, that person who has the piece of land, is at least 2 or 3 people can proclaim that to you, then you are assured that at least that land belongs to that person. And one of the best people to ask are people who are having land around that area. They are the one that will know better if that piece of land belongs to that person. Now, when you confirm that the land belongs to that person, one thing again that you have to verify is to see if that land has been sold to someone before, because there are people who are the rightful owners of the land, but they have sold that land again to someone else. So you have to verify to know if that land has been sold, and it is only through the neighbors that you can verify to see if that land has been sold to someone else or it has not been sold to someone. This is very important because you can be buying a land that has already been sold to 2 or 3 people before, and that is going to be wasted investment. This is very, very important and critical. Now, if it is a family land, what can you do to actually be able to verify if the person that is standing in front of you has the right family backup for him to be able to sell the land to you? You can ask, are you the head of the family? If he is the head of the family, you can ask, have other members of your family consented that this land can be sold to you, that you can sell this land to me? If maybe it's a family land and the person is the head of a family and other members of the family have not consented that the land can be sold, be very careful to buy that land, because when you will buy that land, other members of the family are going to stand up and tell you that that land is a family land and not that particular person's land. The fact that he is the head of the family does not mean he can go forward and sell the land without consulting them, and that is going to be a trap for you. Always verify, and if they accept that the person can sell the land, do not accept vocal confirmation. Ask them to write it down with their name, ID card number, contact, location if possible, and sign that they consent that this person can sell this particular land to you. This is one of the very big mistakes people do. They take people's word for it. Never take people's word for it whenever you are buying the land. If they say anything, let them write it down and sign it and confirm it with their credentials that this is what they are saying. And it is only there that you are assured, right? This is very important. Never take people's word for it. Everything has to be signed. Everything has to be done on the paper. This is important. One thing you have to assure whenever you want to buy any piece of land is that if, for example, you want to make a sales agreement or a deed of conveyance, always make sure that everything is legalized. Bring in a notary that is going to sit in front of you people and legalize everything. This is important. This will save you from a lot of trouble. But many people, when they are buying land, they don't want to involve lawyers, they don't want to involve notary or the state. Why? Because they do not want to pay the consultation fee. If you buy a land without paying a notary, bringing a notary to do a deed of conveyance for you, you are risking yourself, because if tomorrow there's an issue with that land, you will not have any official backup document to sustain your claim of that particular land. Always bring in notary, right? This is important. Now, one mistake people do is that whenever maybe they want to do a survey, they will go and bring somebody that is not registered in the National Order of Surveyors. This is also a mistake. Bring in sworn in surveyors for them to do your survey, because when you want to do the land title, they can reject that and you have to pay double. So at time and possible, always take the surveyors that are working directly with the land tenure department. That is going to save you from a lot of stress. One other thing that you have to check whenever you want to buy a land is to verify if at the moment in which you are buying, there are legal cases that are in court regarding that particular land. There are certain land that you see, but there are court cases that are existing due to that land. Always go and check if there are court cases existing for that particular land. If you can check and there are court cases, don't try and buy that land, because when you will buy it, the judge can rule against the person who is selling the land to you, and you will lose total ownership of that land. Always try to check these things. They are very, very important. One other thing to check when buying a land is the type of land. In Cameroon, there are different types of land. There are private land, there are state-owned land, there are customary land. If somebody is selling a state-owned land to you, never buy that land. State-owned lands are lands that belong to state and have been reserved for public purposes like school construction, hospitals, and many other things. If someone sells such land to you, never buy that land. Always confirm that it is a customary land or a private land, and the most secure land to buy is a private land because it already has a land title. One thing that you also need to know is that if you are buying a land in a community, it's always good to go and see the chief, for the chief to also confirm to you that that land belongs to whosoever says he is the owner of the land. It's always good when you go and you see the chief. At least the chief is going to sign an attestation to you that can give you temporal ownership of the land while waiting to do your deed of conveyance and also land certificate. Right? One mistake that some people do is that when the chief has signed, everything is okay. Never do that kind of mistake. When a chief has signed, if a notary has not signed, if a deed of conveyance has not been done for that land, you are not the rightful owner of that land. Someone anywhere can come against you and you will not have the necessary document to prove that you are the owner of the land. You always make sure you have a deed of conveyance issued by a lawyer or a notary, and when you have that, do not rest at that level. Go forward and apply for your land certificate. This is very, very important. One thing also that you should never make a mistake of not doing when you are buying a land is that you pay the money physically. Never do that. Never in your life pay money physically to somebody when you are buying a land. Even if it comes to a level that you have to do it, bring down a signed agreement that the person will sign, put their ID card information and other personally verifiable information linking to them, maybe even their fingerprint, to show that they have accepted this amount of money from you. Because if a problem arises tomorrow, that person might refuse that you sold the land to him or even took money from you, and you will not have anything to show that you actually gave the money to the person or the person took money from you. The best thing to do is to ask the person's bank account. You do the transaction there and you get a receipt from the bank. That is going to save you from a lot of stress. Always do this when you are paying. Never pay money directly to the person. Right? This is very important. Never trust the word of people. Always make sure that everything is documented. And at times, it's even advisable to do the payment in phases, not to do payment all at once. You do the payment in installment. That is going to better help you at least do some of this background verification. This is very important. One other thing that is also important for you to check is if there is a mortgage or a lease on that land. What is a mortgage? Some people, when faced with difficult situation, will go to the bank, submit their land title to the bank, and ask for a certain amount of money from the bank for them to be able to solve their problem. Some people, after they do this, they have collected money from the bank, they will now come and tell you that they want to sell the land to you, and you will buy the land that is under mortgage without you knowing. And when you buy that, tomorrow when they don't pay the money of the bank will come and seize the land, a land that you have bought with your money. So it's always important to check if the land is under mortgage, right? This is important. If maybe they have borrowed money and have given the title of the land to the bank or to whosoever, that if they don't pay the money, they will come and reclaim. If you find a land and it's under mortgage, be careful to buy that land. Either when the person pay the total money, you can buy the land, or you better go and check your land elsewhere. If not, you will put yourself in trouble. If you even have the money, you can pay the money to the bank and tell the person that you have paid their mortgage. The person will not have to take anything from you again. If they agree, then you can go forward with that. That will be far more better for you. Now, when we are talking about leases, there are certain people who have signed certain documents, maybe with companies or with whosoever, giving them the authority to possess their land for a certain amount of years. That means if they sign a lease for 50 years, that means for that 50 years, they are not in possession of that land. They cannot do anything on that land. It is the person with the lease agreement that has total power over that land for that amount of time. So if somebody signed a lease with somebody and he's selling a land for you, it means you cannot use that land until the lease finishes. And if a lease is existing for 50 years and you want to buy a land to use today, then do not buy that land, right? Some of these things usually depend on when you need that land, why you need that land, when you are ready to use the land. If, for example, you just want to buy it and keep maybe and use it in 60 years time, and there is a lease on the document, you can buy it, right? So because you know that after the 50 years the lease will expire and you will have total ownership. But if you want to use it today, then do not buy such land, because you will not have the capacity to use that land. These are very, very important things that you have to check. The list is not exhaustive. There are other things that you can check, but at least if you do what I've already shown you in this video, this will help you not to fall into the traps that a lot of people has fallen into and they are suffering. Always make sure to check all this. I have not given it in any specific order. Make sure that you close all of them, and when you check them, you are going to be good. Thank you very much for watching this video. I am Tatapong. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow all our recent videos. Thank you.